Okay, in previous class we discussed about rectifying sampling. Okay, this average outgoing quality is also related to rectifying sampling. Okay, when you reject a lot, then the lot will be subjected to rectifying sampling. Where so we go for 100% inspection, or the supplier of the lot will go for 100% inspection. Okay, then so we will take average outgoing quality based on the quality of the accepted lots and quality of the lots which are subjected to rectifying sampling. Okay, so all lots are not subjected to rectifying sampling. Only lots which were rejected earlier. Okay, so they were subjected to rectifying sampling, where you will subject the lot for 100% inspection. Then, so when you do 100% inspection, you will evaluate each and every product in the lot, each and every unit in the lot, so that you can identify all defectives in the lot, and you will replace these defectives with good ones. Okay, then the lots which were subjected to rectifying sampling, so they don't have any defectives, whereas the lots which were accepted, okay, they may have some defectives. The level of defectives may be within the acceptable limit. Because of that reason, so those lots were accepted. Okay, so based on that we are going to find this average outgoing quality. Okay, so this is by considering quality of accepted lots and quality of lots subjected to rectifying sampling. So taking average of that will give you average outgoing quality. The average outgoing quality is the quality in the lot that results from the application of rectifying inspection. It is the average value of lot quality that would be obtained over a long sequence of lots from a process with fraction defective P. So there are few equations related to this. Assume that the lot size is n and that all discovered defectives are replaced with good units. Then in lots of size n, so there are these possibilities. N items in the sample that after inspection contain no defectives because all discovered defectives are replaced. Okay, n is the sample size. Since a lot is subjected to rectifying sampling, all the defectives are identified and they are replaced with good ones. So if defectives are replaced with good ones, in that particular lot there will be no defective. That is the meaning. Next, n minus n items that if the lot is rejected also contain no defectives. So that means if you are rejecting a lot, okay, it will be subjected to 100% inspection, so that there will be no defectives. If the lot is rejected also contain no defectives, since lot will be subjected to 100% inspection, so again we are going to replace with good ones. Next, n minus n items that if the lot is accepted contain p of n minus 1 defectives. Okay, so here, so n is the lot size, small n is the sample size. So for example, okay, if the lot size is 10,000, out of 10,000, if the sample size is 50, okay, out of 10,000 randomly you are picking 50, okay, and out of 50 you may get few defectives, okay, and you may be making a decision regarding, so we can accept this lot because the number of defectives are less than or equal to acceptance number C. Okay, based on that, you are accepting the lot by only evaluating only 50 items. Okay, out of 50, so 2 or 3 may be defective. So now n minus 1 means 10,000 minus this 50 which are already evaluated, remaining 9,950 items, okay, which were not subjected to inspection since they were not picked for sampling. Okay, so now out of 9,950 there may be some defectives. Okay, what is the percent of defectives in this 9950, that will be given by P into n minus 1. N minus 1 is nothing but if the lot size is 10,000, sample size is 50, n minus n will be 9,950 units. Suppose if the fraction defective is 0.01, that is if it is 1%. Okay, next 0.01 into 9,950, that will give you number of defectives. That is the meaning of this statement or this line. Next, thus lots in the outgoing stage of inspection have an expected number of defective units equal to PA into P into n minus n. So already we discussed n minus 1 for our example 9,950. If P is, that is lot fraction defective is 0.01, 0.01 into n minus 1 will give you number of defectives in the lot. Again, there will be a probability of acceptance. If there are 100 lots, if the probability of acceptance is 0.95, that means you are rejecting 5 lots. Okay, so now you are considering only the defectives in the accepted lot. Okay, so that is outgoing means, so you are accepting them. Okay, so PA into P into n minus 1, so which we may express as an average fraction defective called the average outgoing quality. Because so if we reject a lot, that is not the outgoing lot. Okay, so that has been rejected. If it is rejected, it will be subjected to rectifying sampling. Okay, so based on that, so we are considering only the accepted lots. Okay, so for that we are considering probability of acceptance PA. P is the lot fraction defective. N minus n means it is in number of units in a lot. Okay, excluding units taken for sampling. So this average outgoing quality is given by this equation. AOQ means, so this is average outgoing quality. So PA into P into n minus 1 divided by n. N is the lot size, small n is sample size, P fraction defective, PA acceptance, probability of acceptance. If the lot size n becomes large relative to the sample size n, suppose, okay, so n is very large compared to small n, you can neglect this in few cases. Okay, then this equation gets simplified. If n is capital N, lot size is too large when it is compared with n, so that we can, if we can neglect this small n, then n get cancelled. So this acceptable outgoing quality will be PA into P. So if the lot size n becomes large relative to the sample size n, then so accept average quality, average outgoing quality. Okay, so will be PA into P. Next, so if you know lot size, that is 10,000, and if you know how many samples you should pick from the lot, that is sample size n is 89 and acceptance number C is 2, then lot fraction defective is 0.01, then probability of acceptance is 0.9397, that is 93.97% of lots will be accepted. So for this value, if you want to find out average outgoing quality, so then you can make use of this equation, substitute the values, and you will get this answer. The meaning of this is, so this lot consists of 0.93 defective. Okay, 0.93% defective. So even it is less than 1 out of 100, defective will be less than 1. Okay, it means for 1000 units, okay, 9.3 will be defective. That is the meaning. For 10,000 it will be 93. 93 will be defective out of 10,000. That is the meaning. Average outgoing quality will vary as the fraction defective of the incoming lots varies. Okay, this is called as average outgoing quality curve, where on the y-axis you are plotting average fraction defective values, on x-axis incoming lot quality, that is fraction defective. Okay, here this is a graph of P versus AOQ, average quality of outgoing lots. Okay, so here you can observe if the quality of incoming lot is good. So when we say the quality of incoming lot is good, when the number of defectives are less, we say the quality is good. Okay, when the quality of incoming lot is good, even the average fraction defective of outgoing lots also will be less. Next, if the quality of incoming lot is poor, that means if the number of defectives are more, okay, then average fraction defective of outgoing lots also will be more. Then it will reach a peak, then it will decrease, because so if there are more number of defectives, so there is more possibility that those lots will be rejected. Okay, so when the lots are rejected, they are subjected to rectifying inspection, in which so we may go for 100% inspection. Then these lots will be replaced with good units. So because of that, outgoing quality will get improved. That means the number of defectives in the outgoing quality get reduced, because we are rejecting lots at the initial stage itself. Okay, and these lots are subjected to rectifying inspection. So because of that reason, after certain point it will get reduced. The curve that plots average outgoing quality against incoming lot quality is called AOQ curve. This is the AOQ curve. Incoming quality is very good, like this. So here defectives are less than 1%, that is 0.01 fraction defect. Lot fraction defective is 0.01, means it is less than 1%. Now you can see, so in the outgoing lots also the number of defectives are very less. When the incoming quality is very good, the average outgoing quality is also very good. When the incoming lot quality is very bad, like this, so you have almost 4, 5, 6, 7%, 4 to 7% defectives. When the incoming lot quality is very bad, most of the lots are rejected and screened, which leads to a very good quality level of quality in the outgoing lots. That means, so if the number of defectives are more, then there is a more possibility of rejecting those lots. When lots are rejected, they are subjected to rectifying sampling, in which so it is subjected to 100% inspection. That is nothing but screening, where we are going to replace these defectives with good quality units. In between these extremes, that means if the incoming lot quality is good, average outgoing lot quality is also good. So that is one extreme. Another extreme is if the incoming lot quality is very poor, so possibility that so they are rejected and they are subjected to inspection. So there is in between quality. So in that case, so there are few lots which are accepted, even though they consist of defectives, they are accepted. So if lots are accepted, they are not subjected to rectifying sampling. Okay, because of that, in the outgoing lots also you have defectives. So in between these two extremes, so you will find this situation where so quality is not poor, even it is not good, it is average. Okay, so in that situation, so few lots which consist of defectives, so they are also accepted. Okay, because of that, so that will result in poor quality of the outgoing lots. Okay, in between these extremes, the average outgoing quality curve rises, passes through a maximum and descends. So this is the peak of this curve, this one. The maximum ordinate on the average outgoing quality curve represents the worst possible average quality that would result from the rectifying inspection program. That this point is called the average outgoing quality limit. So even though you are adopting rectifying inspection program, that means when lots are rejected, so you are subjecting those rejected lots for 100% inspection, and you are replacing them with good quality products or good quality components. Okay, even if you are doing this rectifying inspection, so you will get a poor quality of output at a certain point. Okay, which is that point where you are going to get very poor quality. Okay, so that will be given by this peak point on this curve. So that is called the average outgoing quality limit. So this point is the average outgoing quality limit. So that means it consists of 0.0155. So more than this, so 0.0155. Okay, so that means so overall, so this outgoing lots consists of 1.55% of defectives. So if the lot is of quality P and the probability of lot acceptance is PA, then the average total inspection per lot is given by this equation. Okay, average total inspection is, so how many units are subjected to inspection in a lot. Okay, that is given by average total inspection. Okay, n, this is the sample size. Anyhow, at any cost, okay, you are picking n number of random samples, that is the sample size, and you are subjecting them to inspection. So other than that, so you are undergoing rectifying sampling, or you are implementing rectifying sampling. So rectifying sampling, you are subjecting rectifying sampling to only the rejected lots. So 1 minus PA, PA means probability of acceptance. 1 minus PA means it is about rejected probability of rejection is given by 1 minus PA. So out of rejected lots, again you are considering n minus n. That means n is the sample size already subjected for evaluation. N minus 1 means remaining. Okay, so this will give you how many units are subjected for inspection. So that is given by average total inspection. Okay, so for example, if the lot size is 10,000 and sample size is 89, acceptance number is 2, and fraction lot defective is 0.01, that is 1% defective, and probability of acceptance is 0.9397. Then you can find out average total inspection. That means for this case, out of 10,000 units, okay, how many units are subjected to inspection? It includes initial sample size picked by random sampling and subjected for evaluation, and also units subjected for rectifying inspection. It includes both. Okay, so then average total inspection, so that is given by this, so 687 units. Okay, next, average total inspection versus lot fraction defective. Okay, so for that also you can draw curves, and we are going to get curves like this. So if the number of defectives are more, again, so the total number of inspection you need to perform also will be more, because if there are more defectives in the lot, so there will be more rejection. So then you need to implement rectifying sampling for those lots. Then obviously, so average total inspection also will increase. Okay, next, double sampling plans. Okay, so whatever we have discussed till now, so these are related to single sampling. Single sampling means out of 10,000, you will pick for this example. Okay, in case of single sampling, so 10,000 is the lot size in a batch. Okay, 10,000 units are produced. Out of 10,000, based on the sampling plan, you are taking 89 samples. And out of this 89 samples, you are fixing an acceptance number. So that means if the number of defectives are less than or equal to 2, you will accept this lot. Okay, if the number of defectives out of 89 If the number of defectives are more than 2, you will reject the lot. Okay, so here you are considering only samples collected at once. You are going to collect 89 samples out of 10,000 units only once, and at any cost you are making a decision whether to accept or reject the lot. If number of defectives are more than 2, you will reject. If the number of defectives are less than 2, you will accept. This is single sampling plan. Sample taken only once, and decisions are made based on those samples, based on the number of defectives in these samples. Okay. Next, in case of double sampling plans, we are not going to do that. So there are different considerations. Okay, that we look into. Double sampling plans. A double sampling plan is a procedure in which, under certain circumstances, a second sample is required before the lot can be sentenced. Okay, lot sentencing means making a decision regarding whether to accept a lot or reject it. Sentencing is nothing but it is about making a decision. So here in case of double sampling plan, in few cases, second sample, that means you need to take samples once again in order to make a proper decision. A second sample is required before the lot can be sentenced. It is not always, okay, only under certain circumstances. So the second sampling need to be taken. Okay, when, that we will discuss. A double sampling plan is defined by 4 parameters, N1, C1. Whereas in the case of single sampling plan, you have only if there is a lot, capital N, small n, C. But here you can see you have N1, N2, C1, C2. So N1 is sample size on the first sample. C1 is acceptance number of the first sample. N2 is sample size on the second sample. C2 is acceptance number for both samples. Okay, if N1 is 50, that is, it is the sample size for first sample. That means it may be taken after 1 hour of production. Second sample may be taken after 2 hours of production or 3 hours of production. Okay, based on different criteria, we are going to choose samples at different intervals. Okay, if N1 sample taken for first sample is 50 and acceptance number is 1 and N2 is 100 and acceptance number is 3, a random sample of N1 equals 50 items is selected from the lot and the number of defectives in the sample D1 is observed. Okay, for this double sampling plan, so that means N1, C1, N2, C2 are specified. Now if there is a lot, okay, you are picking only 50 items for inspection, that is the N1. Okay, this is first set of samples collected. Okay, that is 50 items are collected from the lot, selected from the lot, and then you will subject these 50 for inspection. Okay, after inspection you will get the number of defectives. Okay, that is denoted by D1. Now based on this number of defectives, you are going to make a decision whether to accept a lot, reject a lot, or whether the lot need to be subjected for one more sampling. Okay, whether we need to take second sampling or we can make a decision. So that will be decided by D1. If the number of defectives, okay, so are less than C1, we can accept the lot. Okay, less than C1 or equal to C1, we can accept the lot. If the number of defectives are more than C2, we can reject the lot. Suppose if the number of defectives are more than C1 and less than or equal to C2, then this lot should be subjected to second sample. Okay, that is the meaning. If D1 is the number of defectives after taking single sample, first sample, not single sample. In first sample, so you are picking 50 units. Okay, out of 50 units, if the number of defectives are less than or equal to 1, C1 is the acceptance number. So for this case, acceptance number is 1. If the number of defectives, that is C1 is less than or equal to 1, the lot is accepted on the first sample. you need not do second sample. Okay, in the first sample itself, you can make a decision. Okay, so need not do second sample. When greater than C2, the lot is rejected on the first sample. In these two cases, even though it is a double sampling plan, you can make decision based on first sample itself. That means first set of 50 units, you can make a decision regarding whether to accept or reject the lot. But in one more case, that is if the C1 acceptance number, so for C1 is 1 and C2 is 3. Okay, if the number of defectives are more than 1 and less than or equal to 3, that means if the number of defectives are 2 or 3, if the number of defectives are 2 or 3, then a second random sample of size n2 equals 100 is drawn from the lot and the number of defectives in this sample D2 is observed. So if the number of defectives are more than 1 and less than or equal to 3, that means if the number of defectives are 2 or 3, so once again you are picking 100 more units for inspection, then you will observe number of defectives out of 100, how many are defective. Okay, so that is D2. So you may get 0 defective, you may get 1 defective, 2, 3 or more than that. Okay, based on that you can take decision. Now the combined number of observed defectives from both the first and second sample is used to determine the lot sentence. That means lot sentence means you are going to make a decision whether to accept the lot or reject the lot. If D1 plus D2 less than or equal to C2, that is 3, the lot is accepted. Okay, suppose for example, if D1 is 1, if D2 is 2, you can accept the lot because C2 will be 3. So D1 plus D2 also 3, this also 3, so it is equal, you can accept. Suppose if D1 is 3 and D2 is 0, then also you can accept the lot. Okay, if D1 is 2 and D2 is 1, then also you can accept the lot. Okay, suppose if D1 plus D2 is greater than 3, then you should reject the lot. Okay, so this is the procedure. So inspect. So this is how we are going to perform double sampling plan. Okay, inspect a random sample of n1, that is in this case 50 from the lot, then observe the number of defectives. Then based on this, there are 3 possibilities. If the number of defectives are less than C1, that is acceptance number for first sample, okay, then you will accept the lot. So less than or equal to C1, that is 0 or 1. If the number of defectives out of 50 is 0 or 1, you will accept the lot. If the number of defectives are more than 3, that is C2, so you will reject the lot. Suppose if the number of defectives are more than 1 and less than or equal to 3, then you will go for taking one more sample. So then inspect a random sample of n to 100. So for taking second sample, so the sample size is specified in the double sampling plan. You should pick 100 more samples from the lot. Once again, you should observe the number of defectives. Next, you should add number of defectives from sample 1 and sample 2, that is D1 plus D2. Now, again you should compare this D1 plus D2 value with C2. Okay, so if number of defectives from sample 1 and sample 2 are more than 3, you should reject the lot. If the number of defectives from sample 1 and sample 2 is less than or equal to 3, you should accept the lot. Okay, this is how double sampling plan will work. Okay, next